Then they just stopped being enjoyable. I did see a video get posted today, I think it was from Sunny, talking about how College Humor really, like, died. Yeah. Like, everything they did just became, like, hard to watch. It was just like, ugh. I'm curious, let's check it out.
Almost everyone at CollegeHumor lost their jobs today. That was the title of a news article published in January 2020 after CollegeHumor reduced its staff from around 100 people to less than 10. The need to lay off a whopping 90% of their workforce had come about because of financial troubles. The channel wasn't profitable. CollegeHumor had suffered from multiple changes in monetization rules. Many of their spin-off products were launched with varying levels of success, all while their general viewership had declined from beyond 100 million per month to around 15 million per month recently. Similar to Smosh as covered previously, CollegeHumor actually began as a separate website in 1999. However, while Smosh saw a little success on their website prior to making videos, CollegeHumor was the opposite. In the 6 years between 2000 and 2006, the CollegeHumor website saw massive success by posting content which was, quote, dedicated to the goofy things that college kids find funny. The fact that CollegeHumor's audience were college kids meant that a lot of the content and humor posted was slightly controversial.
They used to have the prank wars.
There was a section for funny drunk college photos, offensive signs, and sexualized images, in conjunction with a message on the homepage from October 2000 which read, "Attention parents and people over 32. Necessary warning. We've had several complaints from parents and older people who are offended after looking at this site. Please note that the name is CollegeHumor and not Parent Humor. You will be offended if you explore this site anymore, so please do not proceed. Also, if you're younger than 18, some of this stuff may not be appropriate. We understand that by saying this, we're drawing more under 18 kids into the site, but oh well. Oh, and don't try stuff you see on here at home. Thanks." This message gives us a pretty good insight into the image that CollegeHumor was going for. It seemed as though they almost wanted to rustle some jimmies in order to show their users that they were willing to push boundaries, and it worked extremely well.
Our third month, we got a check for $8,000 for really, minimal traffic, and I remember that was sort of like the moment where I realized this is actually like a real thing.
By the mid-2000s, CollegeHumor's Google trend graph was clearly showing the site's popularity, which luckily for CollegeHumor drew the eyes of another large corporation offering this comedy website the opportunity of a lifetime. $20 million. That's how much the two founders of CollegeHumor reportedly received in exchange for a 51% stake in the company. This meant that all of a sudden, CollegeHumor had a bigger budget to work with, as well as the ability to pursue new and novel projects. CollegeHumor had been creating original videos and posting them to the CollegeHumor website dating all the way back to 2005, about a year before the acquisition by IAC. However, at the time, the videos were pretty basic and had a limited reach considering they were only accessible to those who happened to
I don't even remember the website looking like that.
Their newly found corporate funding in conjunction with fresh leadership changed all of this. Suddenly they had the budget and manpower to include multiple actors in their videos, which featured professional camera work and professional editing, all of which being uploaded to their newly launched YouTube channel called CollegeHumor TV or CHTV, under the control of their new president of original content, Sam Reich. A large portion of this new content being produced for YouTube continued on with their website's edgy, slightly offensive branding. Osama Night Live, Unsafe Sex, a series titled Clocksuckers, done deliberately with one of the CollegeHumor founders stating, "We remain edgy and keep a sensibility that college kids can relate to." It took them a while to figure out what would and wouldn't work here on the YouTube platform. For example, by 2007, over a year after beginning the channel, the group had gained only a touch over 8,000 subscribers, on top of a video queue that didn't exactly stand out as overly enticing. However, by 2009, this had changed dramatically. Their entire team had been plastered on their front page, showing everyone that they...
In 2009, they had this many people on staff? 2009 is when they started the prank wars, right? Damn, I thought it was literally just like 4 dudes. Wow, they really went balls deep in it. I mean, I guess it worked for a little while.
They meant business. And if you scroll down a little bit to the video section, not only did their thumbnail show that the channel had access to professional animators, but they also often displayed a large cast nestled within professional video sets. From a competition standpoint, CollegeHumor's corporate media backing and access to a huge team of professionals simply put them miles ahead of every other channel at a time when most featured little more than one person talking into a webcam. This would then reflect in their subscriber count. In the 10 months between February 2009 and December 2009, the channel's subscriber count skyrocketed went from 150,000 to over 500,000, placing them in the position of YouTube's 16th.
I still remember those
channel.
medals,
6 months later,
man.
the channel was at 1 million.
That shit was
By
cool.
2014, College Humor had been ranked as New Rockstar's 76th greatest channel of all time. The backbone of this growth was not only the professionally produced skits, as previously mentioned, but also the incredibly likable, relatable characters within the videos. Jake and Amir, who were two of the most popular characters on the channel, hosted a series in which Jake would play a logical, rational, calculated office worker, having to deal with this irrational, annoying odd
Those are the two guys I remember.
Amir. The two would eventually release over 600 episodes of Jake and Amir between 2007 and 2015, at which point they would discontinue the series and leave College Humor altogether, with the goal of working on their own channel and podcast. However, Jake and Amir weren't the only notable characters to
What do they do
College
now?
Humor, as highlighted by somewhat of a viral Reddit post in early 2017. What happened to College Humor? They used to be so much better. Like, I know they had at least 15 actors, animation, so much better skits, and it seems as if they had a lot
still
more
post
money.
together?
Now there are only 5-ish actors and nothing near as good quality. The 8,000 plus upvotes and 700 comments on the post showed that many shared a similar opinion. Jake and Amir left, simple as. And on a similar vein, I think a lot of their top talent moved on to bigger and better things. Instead of leveraging that alumni network and doing better, it seems they decided to take on the BuzzFeed model of business, and so they suck now. The comment related to College Humor taking on BuzzFeed's business model was partially true. College Humor didn't have a super strong political
tried to follow BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed did. There was certainly a slight political bias with many videos criticizing America's president. However, most of these videos were pretty mild, done in the name of comedy, and didn't give you the idea that they were trying to have an impact on the next election in the same way that BuzzFeed did. The other thing that set College Humor apart from BuzzFeed was that College Humor kept their content somewhat
talked about that
offensive. Even after the adpocalypse in 2016, College Humor kept the uncensored swearing and edgy topics alive, which the audience respected as it's simply less common, and it shows that you're willing to take a risk in order to keep the content authentic. However, in the case of College Humor, it may not have been a risk worth taking, as in 2018 they would reveal that it was severely hurting the channel's profits. It came in a video titled How the Internet is Ruining Comedy, posted on the 27th of September 2018, in which the College Humor director Sam Reich would state,
"Making internet videos is challenging, mostly because it pays Dick, and Dick doesn't pay for internet videos."
That's so fucking wrong. That internet creators are dreadfully overpaid. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Just because College Humor's making stinkers. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. People on the internet make way more money than most people expect, and more than they most likely should. Like, this dude is just fucking wrong. Outright wrong. Thanks to the resub, Danny, and the 10 gift subs, Billy. Thank you, man. I appreciate the generosity.
Quite well at this point, gaining around 80 million views a month. However, each video was only on average between 3 and 6 minutes in length, which may not have been bringing in enough money to cover the wages of over 100 staff. Later in that same video...
No, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I guess I can't get too deep into specifics. There is a channel that was once pretty popular. It is not anymore. And a single ad slot on that channel, they were selling for $300,000. A shout out. A shout out on that channel, $300,000. That was only 2 years ago. Not making that up. There's a tier 1 Amaui and tier 1 Jinx. I'm not going to say the channel, but it's absurd. It is absurd. That's only one rare instance? No, it's not. Take, for example, Apex Legends. You remember how much they paid streamers to play the game for 3 hours? They paid $1 million to Ninja to play Apex Legends for like 3 hours. What are you talking about? Like, it's a ton. It is an absolute ton. It's a tier 1 Suck in the Prime Kilimi and the resub Blue.
College Humor would add that
nowadays many of our YouTube videos are deemed controversial and don't make any money,
showing that on top of the videos already being short, many of them weren't being monetized at all. For this reason, College Humor would launch a third-party subscription website called Dropout, on which they could post all their uncensored content for free, marketing it as,
"It's like Netflix, but worse." And cheaper.
Now, it's incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to find data on how popular Dropout TV was
The top
or
get
is,
paid
but
bank,
it didn't
though.
seem like it was
Everyone
a failure.
gets
There were
paid
comments on
bank
the
on the
introductory video over 2 years after Dropout's release stating, "I have been subbed for the site since this video was released, and I
User
haven't
Prime
regretted
hype
it once.
resub.
I really love these guys. Dropout
Equation?
is so worth it. There is so much to explore and deep dive, and I want to support everyone at College Humor and keep them going and creating. Best purchase I have made in ages. Honestly, Dropout is so worth it. It's cheap and I have tons of hours on my favorite comedy shows." It seemed as though Dropout TV was helping College Humor get to a position of profitability. However, such a goal was going to be much harder to achieve after the date of January 8th, 2020. College Humor's parent company pulled its funding, laying off more than 100 employees and leaving a long-time executive to run the company on his own. The title to that article summed up the situation perfectly. The parent company of College Humor, IAC, had pulled its funding from the channel, resulting in the layoff of 90% of its staff. College Humor's director Sam Reich would announce the news to his Twitter in a tweet stating, "IAC, our parent company, has made the difficult decision to no longer finance us. Today, 100 plus brilliant people lost their jobs, some of whom are my dear, dear friends. The twist, however, is that IAC has agreed to let me run the company myself. In words that I'm sure are as surreal to read as they are to type, I will soon become the new majority owner of CH Media. Of course, I can't keep it going like you're used to. While we were on the way to becoming profitable, we were nonetheless losing money, and I myself have no money to be able to lose." The gamer from Mars made a very strong argument in relation to this last tweet in his video discussing the College Humor layoffs.
With over 20 years to start making money, how much longer did the team expect the financial backers to
True.
invest in this content before they'd be justified in cutting their losses?
Any day
It's
now.
a very good point. If the website began in 1999, was funded by IAC in 2006, and was still unprofitable by 2020, 14 years later, IAC were probably getting pretty sick of waiting around for the project to take off. The gamer from Mars then goes on to state another thing. Their lack of profitability would
Resub
likely
Infinite,
be
the
acceptable
Prime
if
Nelson.
the business was growing. Yet all signs showed that things were actually going in the opposite direction. Their Google search volume was down tremendously alongside their YouTube viewership, which had also taken a dive since the early days of the channel. After 14 years without profitability in a business that was seemingly headed in a negative direction, it's hardly surprising to hear that IAC eventually decided to pull the plug. However, things certainly weren't over, and unexpectedly, the removal of IAC's funding might have actually been a blessing in disguise. In the 12 months prior to IAC pulling its funding, working with its full team
Is the
of
Prime
100
trash?
employees, the channel gained a total of 457.6 million views, equivalent to 38 million per month. However, in the 12 months after IAC pulled funding, with a smaller budget and a team of between only 5 and 10 people, the channel gained a total of 468.2 million views, equivalent to 39 million per month, meaning that there was
Prime
really no
Chucky?
change in viewership after College Humor's 90% staff layoff. You'd think that it would be chaos, disorder, complete and utter pandemonium following the loss of
I don't know why they had
90% of the
100 employees
workforce.
to begin
However,
with.
perhaps it made things more simple, streamlining the content creation process while getting rid of people who seemed important, yet might have just been holding things up or adding insignificant changes without anyone realizing. When looking at the content itself, it didn't seem like much had changed after their funding was pulled. Sam Reich stated that some of their projects will need to take on bold new creative directions in order to survive. Also, as previously mentioned, I can't keep it going like I used to. Yet, when comparing the content to before then
I
after
feel
the
like
removal of
early
their funding,
2000s humor is gone forever. Not entirely, but the worst parts of it certainly are. I do this every time someone brings that shit up. Like, the early 2000s had the best humor. Like, you definitely misremembering. Like, this was what was popular in the early 2000s on YouTube. What was his big video? Oh, all of them were pretty shit, but the one I always go to. The one with the clothes hanger. The fuck was it? What the fuck was it? I think it's his most popular video. Yeah, this one.
Grandma, you know, I'm so sorry we had to put you in that nursing home, but we just couldn't afford to take care of you anymore, and this just makes it easier for everybody. So, you're spooning with him right now. His name's George? He's 97. I'm gonna kiss some girls. I'm gonna kiss some girls. I'm gonna kiss some girls. I'm gonna kiss some girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing that most of it's gone.
Sorry, man. What the hell is that? I'm not baking anything. I'm on the phone. What the hell's wrong with you? You got headphones in ears. I'm gonna have to go. Look, I'm real sorry for running into you. Are you
Yeah.
okay?
So anytime someone says that earlier YouTube or whatever was the golden age, I just think they were wrong, and they're just remembering that they were a kid and everything was great and like a magical experience back then. The shit is trash now. I still go back from time to time just to look at like old things I used to like when I was a kid, and I'm like, damn, fuck, that's bad.
funding, there's seemingly very little difference. So perhaps they were simply able to keep up the same level of quality, only with fewer people. Well, for some time. Their 39 million average monthly views throughout 2020 has since declined to around 15 million per month, which began after a radical content shift approximately 6 months ago. CollegeHumor uploaded a video titled No Laugh Newsroom, in which characters have to read a hilarious script and whoever laughs the most loses. Prior to this video, the content uploaded to the channel was fairly diverse, covering a bunch of different topics. However, in the last 6 months, CollegeHumor has uploaded nothing but No Laugh Newsroom videos. While these are fairly hilarious, the graph seems to show that the lack of novelty is hurting the channel's overall viewership. Yet, it's hard to call CollegeHumor a failure. They are still getting pretty reasonable views given the size of their channel and team, and it's not like they made a bunch of clear irredeemable mistakes in the same way that BuzzFeed did. They're just a channel that kind of ran their course.
True.
For most businesses to lose 90%
BuzzFeed is
of
pretty
your
much on
staff
the
as well as
ground.
your parent company funding would mean certain death. Yet CollegeHumor is still out there giving it everything they've got, certainly a commendable trait.
Nice. I thought that was going to be a wackier story, but it really was just one of those things where, yep, they expanded way too fast with way too many people, and it didn't help them. Thanks for the resub, Chester.